What happens when you mix Gladiators, Family Feud, and the 1980s? My name is Steven, and we're talking flicks. So on this week's episode of Talking Flix, we're talking about Thor Ragnarok. We literally just came from seeing this movie, and I guarantee you, if you enjoy Marvel movies and you enjoy laughing, you need to get out there immediately and just go see this movie. It is for me, it is hands down the best Thor movie, and it is the funniest movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far. And I'm not talking about the best jokes. It's the more consistency of the laughter. I don't think there's any point in that movie within like a 5-minute span that you were not cracking up at some kind of joke. This movie wasn't about comic relief. The movie had laughter throughout the entire movie, and it was quite the opposite of normally. Normally you have a quick shot of comic relief in order to break down the seriousness of the entire movie. This movie wasn't afraid to let itself go and let go of that darkness that all the Thor movies up to this point have. What do you think of the movie, B-Ray?
I thought the movie was great. Like you said, it's by far the best Thor movie in the series. The comedy was great, but not also was the comedy great, but also the darkness in the movie was great as well. Because as you know, one of the characters is the goddess of death, and she played the part beautifully as the goddess of death. The whole movie by itself was shot beautifully. I mean, the cinematography in the movie was amazing.
I have to agree. I think the top 3 things in this movie for me that made this movie so well: humor, the soundtrack, and the cinematography. And I have to give it to Marvel. Their green screen work gets better every movie. And I think this entire movie was probably shot on green screen. And after a point, there's certain points that you still see the difference in the video and the quality. But overall, it's like Marvel is stepping up their game every single movie. And I don't know about you, but I actually think that if you have not seen the other 2 Thor movies, and if you have not seen anything else in this Marvel Cinematic Universe, this movie actually is a pretty good standalone. It makes a quick reference to the other movies in the beginning and to the characters being in other movies. But honestly, if you have not seen anything else and you just went to the movies to see Thor by itself, Thor Ragnarok by itself, you were going to have a great time. You didn't have to know anything else.
Yeah, I mean, Thor Ragnarok, like you said, I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack was so retro 80s. Like, it was beautifully done. One of my favorite parts in the movie was the whole Thor and Hulk fight scene. I think that scene just blew my mind for the simple fact that they're supposed to be friends, but they still end up fighting each other, and other things tend to happen in the movie. And, like I said, the characters, they actually, in this movie, compared to the other movies, the characters were actually built perfectly. Each character had its own screen time, like you said, a lot of comedy, a lot of history. You see a lot of flashbacks in the movie. They do a lot of talking from the past and stuff like that, which I thought was great. Like you said, if you haven't not seen the other 2 Thor movies, you're really not missing anything, because this was basically the best one out of the 3.
And I mean, hands down. I mean, if you really look at the progression of the 3 movies, the other 2 don't even compare. Sure, they were beautiful movies, but the 80s approach that they took to this, the technicolors that they did with this movie, absolutely amazing. And I think if you're a person who just appreciates quality of video and how things are shot, this movie is going to be absolutely amazing. It'll blow your mind. The lighting, the colors, the sets, the shots. And this movie gave you action at every single point in the movie. It did not just give you one giant action sequence at the very end. It gave you something at the very beginning to build up to everything else that was going on. It gave you something in the middle. It gave you something at the very end. And like you said, that Thor Hulk seen was action, comedy, drama, and it just alluded to everything else. And it's just like a perfectly neat ball that they packaged everything into.
I mean, it was a neat ball. I mean, for all you nerds and geeks out there, if you guys ever read Planet Hulk, that's the type of Hulk you see in this movie. The Planet Hulk, he has the body armor, he has the weapons, and I thought that was amazing. And as you stated before, even though we did not see this movie in IMAX, we did see it in 4K. It was still beautiful, 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 beautiful. Like you said, the colors, the whole retro style, the music, everything.
This movie actually wouldn't be too bad in IMAX. I mean, me personally, I tend to stray away from IMAX, especially since they force everything to be 3D in IMAX now as well. But I actually wouldn't mind watching this in IMAX because as beautiful as it was just in a regular theater, in IMAX it would just blow your mind.
Yeah, and I like to give props out to the director because the director, the way he directed this movie, it wasn't just focused on just Loki, like some of the other movies had just been focused on Loki because Loki used to be the comedic relief, but also the villain. So like I said, I give it up to the director because he focuses on every character in the movie, even characters that are not even main characters, main players in the movie, and you get to like feel for these characters. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, the director did a phenomenal job.
The actors, the director, the writers, the producers. I honestly, it deserves the rating that it currently have. Last I saw it, it was in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. It is definitely deserves those ratings right now. I think anyone who has the opportunity to go see it, please run out immediately. And we're gonna wrap up this movie, this video quickly because we don't want to give up too much on the movie. Except for one thing I have to mention is giant devil anus. And if once you'll see the movie, you know exactly what I mean when I say giant devil anus. So guys, if you have not seen it by now, if you should definitely go out this very weekend to go watch this movie. Like I said, if you have not watched any other Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, don't worry about it. If you have not seen other Thor movies, don't worry about it. This movie is a great standalone, funny, beautifully shot, great acting, great writing, great cameos from other actors you didn't expect to actually be in the movie as well. So please, great soundtrack, and like B. Rice said before, they did a perfect soundtrack for the ladies look that they went for. So please run out and go see this movie immediately. You don't want to miss out of one of the best Marvel movies, one of the funniest Marvel movies. Guys, go check it out. And B-Ry, I've been checking out the announcers table. I actually guest starred on one of the episodes. I didn't do too bad, even though you kept on talking crap about me.
Yeah, I mean, we're on a little hiatus. I've been busy. We're going to get back on it, though. Guys, still be on the lookout for the newer episode of the announcers table. And we're also going to revamp it up, switch it up a little differently the next time we come back on. So pay attention to the announcers table.
And also keep an eye out for Nerds of the Round. The first episode should be dropping in the next week or two. And guys, thank you very much for checking out another episode of Talking Flix. Please like, share, subscribe. And until the next one, guys.